Hey guys, Mr. Backward here. In this video, we're going to look at applying the order of operations. So here's the order of operations, and you may have seen this acronym before, but it's PEMDAS, and we use that acronym to help us remember what order to do our operations in. So step number one, we look for sets of parentheses. If we find a set of parentheses, then we do everything inside of the parentheses first. Step number two, we look for exponents or powers, and we do the things that have powers on them. The third step, we look for multiplication and division. Now these two actually have the same order of importance, so we're going to do these in order from left to right as we read our math expression. And then lastly, addition and subtraction also have the same preference order, so we work those ones left to right just like we would multiplication or division. So this is the order that we're going to do all of our operations in. So we're going to look at this first example here. We've got 30 minus 2 squared divided by 2 times 5. Now I've got our PEMDAS acronym written out on the right-hand side here, and I've got it separated by level of importance so we can run right down the list and check all these off. So the first thing we're supposed to look for are any sets of parentheses. Now this particular problem doesn't have any parentheses in it, so we can skip that one and move down to exponents. As we're reading through this problem, here in the middle, this 2 squared, we have an exponent. So we're going to take care of that exponent. The 30 isn't going to change because that doesn't have any exponent on it. But when we take 2 and square it, 2 squared should give us 4. And then we're still dividing by 2 times 5. So we took care of the exponents. Now we're going to move down to the next level. The next level is multiplication and division. Now remember, these have the same order of importance, so we're going to work this from left to right. So as I read this expression from left to right, the very first thing I see is this division symbol in here. So I'm supposed to take that 4 and divide it by 2 first. So again, the 30 hasn't changed, minus. Now when I take 4 and divide it by 2, we should get 2 as an answer, but then we still have this times 5. Now we've got this multiplication happening in here, so we need to do that multiplication now. So 2 times 5, that's going to give me 10. So we've got 30 minus 10. That took care of all of our multiplication and division. So now we're down to that last step, looking for addition or subtraction, and we should see this subtraction in there. So if I take 30 minus 10, we should get 20 as our final answer. In our second example here, we've got 3 cubed divided by 9 plus 4 times 3. Now I've got our order of operations written out on the right-hand side of the screen again. We start by looking for any parentheses. Just like our first problem, this problem does also not have any parentheses, so we're going to skip over that one. So now we're going to look for exponents. And the only exponent I see is that 3 cubed. So we're going to evaluate 3 cubed, and that should give us 27. Then we still have the divided by 9, the plus 4, and the times 3. Now that took care of our exponent, so I'm going to cross that one off. We're moving down to level 3 here, looking for multiplication and division. Now remember, we work those from left to right as we read them in our problem. So the very first thing I see happening is this divided by 9. So 27 divided by 9 should give me 3. But then I've got my plus 4 and my times 3. Now I need to take care of this multiplication on the end. So 4 times 3 should give me 12. But then I still have this 3 plus in front of that 12. Multiplication and division are gone, so I'm going to cross that one off the list. Now we're down to addition and subtraction. The only thing we've got left in here is this 3 plus 12 happening. So if we add those together, that should give us 15 as our final answer. Moving into example number 3 here, we've got 12 plus 5 minus 3 being squared. Now as we look at our order of operations, this one does have a set of parentheses. So we're supposed to do the stuff inside of the parentheses first. So I'm going to leave the 12 plus alone for right now, but now I'm supposed to take care of that subtraction inside of my parentheses. So 5 minus 3 should give me 2, but then we've still got that squared power on that. So the parentheses were taken care of. Jumping down to the next level, we've got exponents. So now we've got this 2 being squared. And 2 squared should give us 4. And then we've got our 12 plus still in front of that. So exponents are gone. We look for multiplication and division, but this one doesn't have any, so we're allowed to just skip over that level and move down to the addition or subtraction. We've got 12 plus 4 happening, so that should give us 16 as our final answer. Now, as we look at example number 4 here, it starts to get a little bit more complicated. So we've got 2, and then we've got this square set of brackets. Now, if a problem involves multiple sets of parentheses, then a lot of times you'll see the outermost set of parentheses written as a set of square brackets to help distinguish it from any other sets of parentheses. So that's what's happening here. They're just using these square brackets like another set of parentheses. So then inside of there, we've got 54 divided by, and then we've got this inside set of parentheses with 4 squared plus 2. So we're first supposed to look for parentheses, but in this problem, we've got this square set of parentheses, and then inside of that, there's another set of parentheses. When you're dealing with multiple sets of parentheses, you always want to start with the innermost set of parentheses. So we're looking at this one on the very, very inside with the 4 squared plus 2. Now there's an exponent in there, so we're going to have to take care of that first. So 4 squared should give me 16, and then we've got this plus 2 inside of that set of parentheses, and then we've got this set of square brackets with the 54 divided by that set of parentheses, and then we've got this 2 out on the very, very front. Now we still have to do this addition inside of this set of parentheses, so we have to take the 16 plus 2, and that should give us 18. And then we've got our 54 divided by 18 inside of this big set of square brackets. Now, since we're done with all of the operations inside of that set of parentheses, it's not necessary to keep them around the 18 anymore. And then we've still got this 2 on the outside. Now, we've still got a set of grouping symbols in here. We've got this set of square brackets, so we need to continue working inside of there. So if we take 54 and divide it by 18, that should give me 3. So we've got 3 inside of our square brackets with the 2 on the outside. Now there's no operation written between this 2 and our set of square brackets, so that means we're going to multiply these together. So if we take 2 times this 3 inside of those brackets, we should get 6 as our final answer. Now I've got a few more examples that I'm going to throw at you, but these ones look a little bit different. Now we're starting with an algebraic expression with a variable in there, and we're given a value that we're supposed to plug in for that variable, and then we're going to go ahead and simplify down our expression. So in this case, we've got 5x over x plus 2, and we're supposed to evaluate that when x equals 3. So remember, that means that we're going to take 3 and we're going to plug it in for the x's in this expression. So across the top, that 5x means 5 times x. So if I plug in 3, then we're supposed to take 5 times 3 on the top. And then on the bottom, if I plug in 3 there, we're going to have 3 plus 2. Now with the order of operations, when you see a fraction like this, the top and bottom get worked out separately before you put them together. So I'm going to take care of the multiplication that's happening on the top first. So I'm going to take the 5 times the 3, and that should give me 15. And then I want to work the bottom separately from the top. So 3 plus 2 should give me 5. Now there's no other operations happening on top or on bottom. We've got those down to just single numbers. So now remember, fraction bar means that we're supposed to divide those. So this is saying 15 divided by 5. And if we take 15 and divide it by 5, we should get an answer of 3. Similar things happening in this example. We've got 3/8 times c squared plus 4. And we're supposed to evaluate that when c is 4. So I'm going to take that 4 and I'm going to plug it in for my c value. So we've got 3/8 times, get rid of the c, replace it with a 4. So 4 squared plus 4. Now, order of operations says that we're supposed to start inside of the parentheses first, and the exponent has the highest order of preference inside of that set of parentheses, so we're supposed to square that 4 first. So we're going to have 3/8 times 4 squared is 16, and then we've got our plus 4. Now 16 plus 4 should give me 20 inside of that set of parentheses. Now I'm running out of room, so I'm going to move over here. So we're going to have 3/8 times 20. Now here we've got some multiplication happening with this fraction. And in order to make this a little bit easier on ourselves, I'm going to take that 20 and turn it into a fraction. And I can do that. I can take any whole number and turn it into a fraction by putting it over 1. Now when you multiply fractions together, you multiply the tops and then you multiply the bottoms. So if I multiply the numbers on the top, 3 times 20 is going to give me 60. And then if I multiply the numbers on the bottom, 8 times 1 is going to give me 8. Now this fraction is reducible, so I'm going to look for something that I can divide evenly out of both of these numbers. So I'm looking at 60 and I'm looking at 8. Both of these are nicely divisible by 4, so I'm going to reduce this fraction down. If we take 60 and divide it by 4, we should get 15. And if we take 8 and divide it by 4, we should get 2. So our final answer on this one is going to be 15 halves. I've thrown a lot of examples at you, but this is the last one, I promise. We're supposed to evaluate the expression g squared minus 8 over 2g minus 5, and we're going to use a g value of 6. So we're going to start by replacing both of those g's with 6. So we're going to have 6 squared minus 8 over, remember this is multiplication, so 2 times 6 minus 5. So if we start on the top, 6 squared is going to give me 36 minus 8 over, now I can do this multiplication on the bottom, 2 times 6 is 12 minus 5. If we do the subtraction on top, 36 minus 8 is 28. And if we do the subtraction on bottom, 12 minus 5 is 7. 28 divided by 7 works out nicely. That gives us an answer of 4. That's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching.